Welcome to the Magic Power Podcast with Sarah Jasmin Cartsburg, where you get all the keys you need to awaken your spirit and soul, discover your life's purpose, and learn how to use the incredible power of your mind. To download your free and awesome bonuses, go to magicpowerpodcast.com/free. And now, your host, Sarah Jasmin Cartsburg.
Are you a highly sensitive person? Maybe you already know you are one, and that's the reason why you're listening to this episode. But maybe you're not sure yet. Let's find out together what it means to be a highly sensitive person, and especially what you can do about it, how you can make most of these special gifts that are only available to people who are highly sensitive. And the reason why I believe that I can tell you quite a lot about this topic is that I'm a highly sensitive person too. So I really understand what you're going through, your struggles. And I mean, it's not always easy. I actually believed for quite a long time that being highly sensitive is a burden, a heavy burden. Let me explain you why. Well, when I was a kid and when I was a teenager, I didn't know I was highly sensitive. I mean, not that many books were about the topic already written, and it was like there was no information about it. And even if there was, I had no clue that it would make sense for me to look up all this information. So you already have it much easier today because people actually talk about it. Did you know that there are studies that between 10 to 15% of all people are highly sensitive? And I mean, most of them don't even know they are. But the moment you figure out that you are one, your life gets much easier because you can actually do something about it and make the most out of it. So, when I was a teenager, I found out that I was highly sensitive. Actually, because every time I was with friends who were smokers, I suddenly had a deep urge to smoke a cigarette, which was really strange because I wasn't a smoker, I hated smoking, I didn't like the smell of cigarettes or how they made me feel, or I didn't like anything about cigarettes. But still, when I was with a good friend who was smoking a cigarette, I wanted to smoke one too. And this was not about wanting to connect with them and seeming like a cool person. I mean, the friends I had, I didn't need to behave like that. It was more that it was coming so deep inside from me, the urge to smoke a cigarette, that I actually sometimes did. I asked them, hey, can I have a cigarette? And then they were like, but Sarah, you don't smoke. And I was like, yeah, I know, but I really want to right now. And they gave me the cigarette. I took like a few breaths from the cigarette and I was like, you know what? That really isn't for me. I don't know why I had the need to smoke one. So my friends weren't really happy about it because I just wasted a whole cigarette. And and as a teenager in school, you don't have that much money to buy as many cigarettes as you want all the time. But anyway, so after this happened like a dozen times or so, I was like, that's really, really strange. Because when I'm alone, I never even think about a cigarette. It was like I had no explanation for it. And then I got deeper into the topic and I figured out that feeling what someone else is feeling as your own feeling is actually another expression of being clairvoyant. It's another expression of perceiving things about life that other people just don't perceive. When I understood that this is what all this is about, a lot of things in my life changed, because then I realized that I've had this experience in other areas of my life as well. Like when my mom had a headache. I often had a headache too. When someone was crying, I suddenly felt really sad. And these things they are not easy to realize, because most often you don't know that the other person is feeling sad. It's just that suddenly you're feeling sad and you have no explanation. Of course, afterwards your mind is coming up with all these stories like, oh, it's because I remember the sad moment of my life or something like that. But that's not true. You're having this feeling because the person you're spending time with right now is having that feeling and you're picking up on it. I mean, this can be a burden, but it can actually also be a great advantage in your life. So, for example, when I go to a level 3 yoga class, where only people are in that room that have been practicing and teaching yoga for like many years, I'm like, whoa, I can do all these poses and all these things that I would never be able to do if I practice yoga alone in my home, right? And it's also like I'm having these breakthrough moments and these, wow, this is what yoga is all about. And it's also the same thing doesn't happen if I'm in a room with yoga beginners. It only happens if I'm in a room with people who practice yoga a lot, because I can pick up easily on their expertise, on their experience, on their way of approaching yoga. So I want you to think about it. Think about moments in your own life when you had a similar experience than what I just told you. Has this ever happened to you? That you were, for example, you were really happy, it was a good day, and then you go to the supermarket, you buy groceries, and after being there, you just feel weird or different for some reason. That means you have picked something up from another person who was in the supermarket at the same time than you. By the way, this also happens if you're highly sensitive, not only with people that you are in the same room with, but also with people that you are closely connected with. Like, for example, a few of my best friends who are also on the spiritual path like I am, we often have similar dreams occurring at the same time. This is really strange, I think, but on the other hand, it's because I know we are connected and we often go through the same experiences and the same emotions and the same breakthroughs at the same time, because we are really connected and we support each other. And if one of us is having a breakthrough moment, the other ones in that circle are benefiting from that breakthrough moment because they can experience it too, right? So this is really a gift that you can use for your life. The only thing you really have to learn and to understand and to practice is to not pick up on emotions and thoughts of other people that you don't wish to have. And I'm telling you, this does not come easy. It has taken me many, many years of practice to even realizing when I have picked a thought of another person again. Because most of the time, you truly believe that this thought is yours. It's not that easy to know the difference. At the end of this episode, I will give you some tools. As a free gift for you today, I have created a very special download that helps you to deal with these things better. Like, I'm giving you some strategies, some daily things that you can implement easily in your life that help you stop picking up emotions and thoughts from people that you don't want to pick up. You can download your free gift in the show notes of this episode. Another thing, highly sensitive people are often mistaken for hypersensitive people. It's not necessarily the same thing. It can be, but often it is not. So highly sensitive means that you have this gift of feeling and perceiving in some way what other people around you are going through at the moment, what's happening inside of them. And this doesn't only relate to people, by the way. It also relates to animals and to places and to everything, right? Like highly sensitive people, when they visit a place, they can just feel if this place is like a special place where they feel good, or let's say they go to a place where like a lot of people were killed because of the Nazis or something like that, right? They would feel that something in this place is really heavy, and they might even start to cry. Like, this happened to me when I went to one of these Hitler camps. It's close to my hometown when I was a kid. And back then, I had no idea what was going on inside of me. I just felt so bad for days after visiting this place. So knowing about it really helps me, because nowadays I make a conscious choice to not going to these places if I don't absolutely have to. And if I go there, I do a certain ritual that I will teach you as well in the gift that you can download in the show notes for today, of how to make the best out of it, right? So another thing you need to know, that highly sensitive people, so maybe also you, are often indigo children or indigo adults. I have actually done a whole other episode about indigo children and indigo adults. You can check it out. I'll link to it in my show notes. It's not always that if you're a highly sensitive person, you are also an indigo person, but very often you are. A lot of people actually are. And indigo people, those are people who have this deep sense of knowing that they are here on earth in this life to make a difference for a deeper reason. You might not even know yet what that reason is, or you're struggling to find a deeper purpose, but you can sense and feel that you have it and that you should do something about it. So if this is true for you, go check out my other episode on this topic. So a few strategies that you can start implementing in your day right away, right now, if you are a highly sensitive person. Whenever you go through your day and something happens inside of you that came very suddenly, like boom, you don't even know where the thought just came from, and it really does not relate to what has been going on in your mind, like right before that, chances are very high that this thought or this emotion is coming from someone else. And the moment you realize it's coming from someone else, you can let it go way more easy. Just take one deep breath and think, this is not my thought, this is not my feeling, I'm letting it go now. And then imagine it with your breathing dripping out of your body, of your energetic system again. Maybe this doesn't work at the first time you try, but it gets more easy with practice, I promise. And of course, to be able to do this, you have to watch your thoughts and your feelings very closely. But if you are highly sensitive, I guess that already you have a very close connection to your emotions anyway, all day long. Another very important thing that I recommend you do each and every single day is that you integrate a ritual into your life in the evening that helps you get rid of everything that you have picked up on that very day from other people. Like for me, that ritual, for example, is I go into the shower with salt. Sea salt, like the sea salt you can buy in any store. And of course you should pick a sea salt that has no additives and no something. But just use regular sea salt and scrub it onto your body. And we are not talking about the Dead Sea salt that you are putting into your bathtub. We are talking about the sea salt that you can use in your kitchen. And what the salt is actually doing, it's freeing your aura, your energetic system from all the energies that you have picked up, and also from all the other negative emotions that maybe came up from yourself. So this is really an awesome thing that I really, really recommend. And I even recommend it, if you can, to do this during the day. If you feel like you're just feeling so bad and you don't have any idea what to do about it. So try it out. Just take a shower with natural sea salt and see what happens. And I promise you will feel the difference. If you're highly sensitive, you will feel the difference after taking a shower with sea salt. And another thing that's really important for highly sensitive people is to spend a lot of time alone and to spend a lot of time in nature, because this helps you to come back to yourself, to come back to your center, to find out who you are. If not, everything else around you is influencing you. And how will you ever know what influences you've picked up from other people and situations if you don't know who you are without all these influences? So this is really, really important. I mean, as a highly sensitive, you might even be studying something just because your friends are really excited about this topic, but it might not actually be you. So spending a lot of time alone and using this time alone to figuring out who you really are, what your deepest desires really are, is absolutely necessary if you want to be happy and fulfilled as a highly sensitive person. So I get you. I have kids and a family and a job too. And it's not always easy to find time to spend alone. So what I recommend, if you cannot spend time alone in nature for hours or days or something like that, pick a meditation. You can choose one of my meditations or any other meditation that you like. You can listen to it on audio and use that as a tool to spend time going inwards. Because every time you go inwards, You stop picking up all these things from outside. What I also recommend is that you talk about this with your family so they can understand you better. And maybe you also have a highly sensitive child. And I know my son is highly sensitive too. It's not always easy with them. But they really do need your help and your support and your understanding. And you need to explain them how they can deal better with them. Like help them spend time alone. Help them find back to their center. They just really need it. These children, they really need the time to connect with themselves, with their inner core, because otherwise they will get lost in this world. I hope these tips gave you some inspiration about what to do if you're highly sensitive, because being highly sensitive is such a great gift if you know how to use it right to help you making the very best out of your highly sensitivity gift and to just deal better being a highly sensitive in daily life. I have put together an awesome guide for you. I'm talking about my own experiences and some tips and strategies that you can use in your daily life that really will make a difference instantly. Don't worry about it. These tips and strategies, once you implement them, they don't take up extra time. Actually, they help you free time, because we also talk about the things in daily life that really harm you as a highly sensitive person. And being one of them, you want to be aware of them. You want to know of the things that harm you every day in your life and how to get rid of them and how to stop them from influencing you and from harming you, stopping you from being really happy and stopping you from being who you really are. Being highly sensitive is a gift. If you're highly sensitive, your life can be so much more magical than that of the average person. If you know how to access the magic and how to get rid of the things that stop you from experiencing the magic. So go get your free guide now at magicpowerpodcast.com/highly sensitive. magicpowerpodcast.com/highly sensitive. So have a wonderful day, and I'll catch you next time.
Thank you for tuning in to the Magic Power Podcast. If you loved this episode, please share it with your friends and subscribe to her show now on magicpowerpodcast.com.